either yourself as teacher to speak with your students or to capture lessons and activities, instructions, or any type of other audio communication you may like to make with your students, or to have your students capture reflections, or to kind of differentiate their activity or their lesson by having them speak or discuss lessons or topics, or to capture conversations of students in groups, because quite often there are amazing conversations that take place in classrooms, but ultimately not captured in any way, or students sometimes struggle with putting the thoughts that they have down on paper. So this way they can be captured and maintained and returned to later. So I'm using Camtasia to make this particular video, but I would suggest that you use Jing if you haven't downloaded it. Jing, as you can see on the screen right now, is a free software. techsmith.jing.com is the URL, and you can download this software to your computer. After you download it, it puts a little sun. As you can see here, you can move the sun anywhere you want. So in this case, I usually just like to leave it up at the top. And if you ever want to record the screen, as I'm doing right now, you would just click the little crossbar, and as you can see, it will allow you to choose the area that you would like to record, and then give you your options to capture video here. I'm already capturing this video using Camtasia, so I am not going to, I'm obviously not going to start up Jing right now. But this is a way that you can create screencasts, as I'm doing here today for you. So podcasting is, as I mentioned, personal on-demand broadcasting, something that you can do to create little amateur radio shows and then make them available online for people to access when they would like to have them. Podcasting is easier to do than the name may make it sound. So today I'm going to show you how to use Audacity in order to quickly create audio files with multiple tracks. Audacity is a free software program, which I'll post the links to, and how to download the MP3 component of it. We won't talk about that right now. I'm just going to launch Audacity, and you can see it's a relatively simple platform. It really is easy to use. It can be as complex as you would like it to be, but all you really need to do once you launch it is to click the record button up top. So if you yourself are going to make a podcast, just click the record button. And today we are going to be talking about podcasting and how to use Audacity to simply and easily record audio tracks and to edit them and export them as MP3 files. Hit stop, scroll back, and then we use our little eye cursor, and then we can play back and hear how that sounds so far. And today we are going to be talking about podcasting. Okay, so there's my voice track. It's already laid down. And I could, from this point on, just save it and move on. So if you don't want to take the time to edit it, because there's really no need, you're really only wanting to capture the voices, that's really all there is to it. And you could go up to File and Export as MP3, and you're finished. If you would like, however, to record multiple tracks, so in this instance I'm thinking of collecting group conversations in a class, I would suggest setting up a computer as a station. You really only need one computer for this activity. You don't need multiple computers. You just need one computer and a microphone. In this case, I'm using the Blue Snowball omnidirectional microphone. Now, the omnidirectional microphone is quite unique in that it is able to pick up sounds from 360 degrees around the device itself. In this instance, however, I have the setting on the back switch to first position. First position activates the Cartoid capsule, which is front facing, so it is picking up my conversations as it's pointed directly at me, which is perfect for speech, vocals, and podcasting, because I don't want it to pick up the sound around me or behind it. In the second position, it activates again the front-facing Cartoid capsule, but it has a 10 decibel pad, and what that means is it reduces the background noise, and especially if you're playing for like live music or if you're in a lecture hall that's extremely loud. The third position is the Omni capsule, and that's excellent for picking up conferences and interviews. You would put this microphone in the center of the of the conversation, and it will capture all of the sounds coming from around it. Great way to capture group conversations and reflections in class. So I have it set to the first position for this activity. So going back to Audacity, if you have this set up as a station, students can walk around when it's their time to say their piece, and I've seen this happen in many a classroom of multiple grades, where students can walk around to the station, and when they're ready to either reflect or to do their piece of the assignment or the activity, all they would have to do is come and sit down and click the record button. And then they can add the second track, which is their reflection or part of the activity or lesson. And when they're finished, they would hit stop. Now from this point, what I would suggest is that you have them click audio track and name it. So in this case, I'm going to name it Aaron. So you could have the student just name their track and then move on to the next station when they're done. The next student then would then come along, hit record, and then they would add their reflection or their piece of the activity or lesson. And when they're finished, they would hit stop. Okay. Now, in order for a student to listen to their track without listening to everybody else's, there's something that is should be considered. Because if I click my I bar here, it's going to play all three tracks on top of each other, which makes it very difficult to hear. So, if the student who laid down the third track would like to listen to her track only, then she would go up, click mute for track 1 and mute for track 2, and then play her track alone.
And then they would add their reflection or their piece of...
Okay. And then if she wanted to edit it, then she could do so, and we'll talk about that in a second. Okay. So once you have multiple tracks, in this case 3, I don't want them to play over top of each other. I want one to start after the other, so I'm just going to unmute these. So what you need to do is use the magnifying glass in the top left corner and use the left button and click in a track, and you'll see that it expands them, or the right mouse button, and it will shrink the tracks down. You can also use view, zoom in, or zoom out. And you can put it back to normal, which is the way it was recorded. I'm going to use the right mouse button, and I'm just going to shrink these down so they're a little easier to see. And scroll down. In order to move a track after the previous track, use the arrow, the dual arrow icon, top left corner of your screen. Click with your left button in the track and hold it down, and then just drag it to the end of the previous track. And do that for each track that you would like to move. So now you can see we have the 3 tracks that were recorded. Okay. So here, this one was Aaron. This one we didn't name, so I'll name this. This one was also me, so Aaron. And then let's pretend that this one was Sally. Okay, that way you know each student, and they're all named. So now, if I click on my I bar in the top left corner again, and then click, you'll see that they play one after the other.
And today we are going to be talking about...
Okay, I'll just fast forward here.